BioShock. This game isn't just about shooting stuff, though don't worry, there's plenty of that. It's about diving into a world that feels both alive and decayed at the same time. You're dropped into a city beneath the ocean, where everything's gone wrong, and you're left to figure out how to survive while navigating through some seriously twisted environments. The gameplay is a blast, mixing action with strategic thinking. You've got your weapons, of course, but then you also have these plasmids, think of them like superpowers, that add a whole new layer to how you handle situations. Want to zap someone with electricity, or maybe throw them across the room using telekinesis? The possibilities make combat feel fresh and exciting. What really stands out is how you can get creative with these abilities, combining them with your guns or the environment around you to make each encounter feel like a puzzle. And it's not just about action. The world you're exploring is packed with little stories and mysteries that keep you hooked. You'll come across audio logs, abandoned rooms, and bits of history that really flesh out the city's downfall. It's a game that invites you to explore, not just for loot, but to unravel the pieces of what's left behind. Plus, those moments when you find something new, they hit differently, like discovering a hidden treasure in a place that's falling apart at the seams. What makes it even more interesting is the moral choices. You're not just a passive observer. You get to shape the direction of the game. The Callisto Protocol. If you're into creepy corridors, things skittering in the dark, and that, wait, did something just move feeling, this one delivers the goods hard. It's basically a roller coaster ride through a space prison gone horribly wrong, and you're right in the middle of it with nothing but a stun baton, bad luck, and sheer stubbornness to keep you alive. Combat here is gritty, up close, and surprisingly brutal. It's not your usual spray and pray shooter. Instead, it's more like dodge, whack, panic, repeat. Super physical and intense. There's a real weight to every swing of your weapon, and when enemies get close, which they will, you feel it. The game wants you to get your hands dirty, and honestly, it's kind of satisfying in a I didn't know I liked melee this much kind of way. But here's the fun part. It's not just about smacking monsters. There's this cool gravity gun called the GRP, and it lets you pick things and enemies up and toss them into hazards. Picture grabbing a mutated space inmate and hurling them into spinning machinery. It never gets old. It turns the environment into a playground of very unsafe ideas, and that's part of what makes it fun. There's a nice mix of tense exploration, crafting, and oh no moments, but it never tips into overwhelming territory. It respects the fact that you might need to breathe between heart-pounding encounters before throwing another nightmare your way. Portal 2 is one of those games that doesn't just make you think. It makes you think in new and creative ways, pushing your brain into a fun kind of overdrive. Right off the bat, you're thrown into a world of puzzles that get more inventive the deeper you go. And we're talking about puzzles that aren't just about figuring out how to get from point A to point B. These are puzzles that bend space and time. Well, kind of, with portals that let you teleport around the environment. The beauty of this game is in how the puzzles start simple and slowly ramp up, but in a way that always feels like you're learning something new. It never gets frustrating, just challenging in the best way. You start using the classic portal mechanics, shooting 2 portals to transport between them, but then, just when you think you've got the hang of it, new mechanics get introduced. Enter things like repulsion gel, which lets you bounce off walls, and propulsion gel that makes you run faster. And that's just the start. Hardlight bridges and excursion funnels spice things up too, giving you all these tools to play around with as you figure out how to navigate through each room. It's not just about the puzzles, though. The game has a fantastic cast of characters, all of whom have these distinct personalities that really make the whole experience feel alive. Whether it's the ever-sarcastic GLaDOS, the bumbling Wheatley, or the eccentric Cave Johnson, each character adds a layer of humor and intrigue to the journey. Dying Light. Dying Light is one of those games that just throws you into the action and keeps things exciting from start to finish. Picture this. You're in a city overrun by zombies, and instead of just trudging along with basic survival mechanics, you're literally running and leaping around the place like a parkour master. It's like they took everything you love about open-world games, threw in some seriously awesome mobility, and then added a twist with the zombies. One of the coolest parts? The day-night cycle. During the day, the infected are sluggish, and it's kind of chill. You can take your time to explore, collect supplies, or just mess around with the parkour system. But when night falls, things get intense. Zombies turn into something way more terrifying. If you're not careful, they'll come after you with a vengeance. It's the kind of switch that makes you rethink everything, and that makes the gameplay way more dynamic. And then there's the combat. Dying Light doesn't just give you some generic weapons, you get a whole range of them to play with, from melee stuff like pipes and bats to more advanced weapons you can craft or upgrade. The crafting system is pretty slick, and it really keeps you on your toes since you're always on the lookout for materials. There's something super satisfying about smashing a zombie skull with a bat you just crafted from scrap parts you found lying around. You can also team up with friends and take on the challenges together. It's a total blast. The Witcher 3. There's something really special about the way it combines an epic, sprawling adventure with a world that feels alive in a way not many games manage to pull off. When it comes to the gameplay, it's all about the freedom. You're thrown into this huge world filled with so many different areas to explore. From the lush forests to war-torn villages, it's a place that feels lived in, and every corner has something interesting to offer. You can be doing one thing, like hunting down a vicious monster, and then get sidetracked by a side quest that has you investigating a strange creature terrorizing a town. Every quest feels important, even the smaller ones, and they all fit together to make the world feel connected. The combat, it's fast, fun, and versatile. Whether you prefer getting up close and personal with your swords or casting powerful magic to take down enemies from a distance, there's a combat style that suits everyone. It's not just about hacking and slashing, though. You'll need to be smart and think on your feet, using the right tactics for each enemy. It's the kind of game where you learn, adapt, and feel really satisfying as you start to master all the skills at your disposal. What's also awesome about this game is how much it makes your choices matter. Every decision, no matter how small, can have big consequences, and that adds a layer of tension and excitement. You're not just going through the motions, your actions shape how the world around you unfolds. Borderlands 3 is the game that brings the chaos, fun, and loot-filled mayhem that fans love about the series. If you're all about grabbing a gun, blasting your way through enemies, and raking in sweet loot, you're in the right place. From the get-go, the game offers an action-packed, over-the-top experience that's sure to hook you. The mix of crazy characters, hilarious banter, and tons of weapons makes this one a blast to play. Whether you're exploring vast landscapes or fighting off hordes of enemies, there's always something exciting happening. And let's not forget the loot. Whether you're searching for that perfect gun or upgrading your gear, the rewards keep you coming back for more. The real charm of Borderlands 3 comes from its fast-paced loot shooter gameplay. Every enemy encounter feels like a chance to try out new weapons and abilities. The sheer variety of guns and mods means you'll never get bored. There's always something new to test out, whether it's a rocket launcher with explosive rounds or a rifle that shoots grenades. Each weapon feels satisfying in its own way. And that's part of the fun, getting your hands on something that totally changes how you take on a fight. As you progress, the character customization is top-notch. Whether you're in it for the explosive combat or the strategy of building up the perfect skill tree, there's room to tailor your playstyle however you like. The streets are calling, and the only way to answer is with a roaring engine and some seriously slick moves. In this game, you're thrown into the heart of Lakeshore, a city that's just begging to be explored, and every turn promises a fresh challenge. As soon as you hit the gas, you realize there's something different about this racing experience. The cool part? You can take full control over how your car looks and performs. It's not just about speed, it's about standing out. You've got all the options for tuning up your ride, from tweaking the performance to going wild with custom paint jobs and stickers that scream personality. Graffiti-inspired effects? Yep, that's a thing. If you've ever wanted your car to literally leave a trail of art as you blaze through the city, this game makes it happen. Now let's talk about the races. Whether you're in the middle of a high-speed sprint or drifting around a sharp corner, there's a sweet flow to the gameplay. Every race feels like a high-stakes game of chess, where every decision matters. The way the city is laid out makes you feel like there's always a better path to take, like you're constantly on the lookout for shortcuts that could shave precious seconds off your time. Plus, with a weekly schedule of events, you're always chasing the next big race to prove you've got what it takes to be number one. The best part? You're not in it alone. If you've got a friend to ride shotgun, the multiplayer mode opens up even more options to team up. Baldur's Gate 3 is one of those games that comes in with a bang and sets a new standard for RPGs. It's not just about picking a character and going through the motions. It's about diving into an immersive world where every decision you make actually matters. You create your own story, and it's shaped by the choices you make, the people you meet, and the alliances you form along the way. Every interaction feels meaningful, and that's what makes it so much fun. First off, this isn't a game where you just press a button and watch everything happen. It's all about tactical combat, which is where the real strategy comes into play. Turn-based mechanics, inspired by Dungeons and Dragons, make the gameplay exciting, especially because each battle feels like a puzzle. You need to plan your moves, think ahead, and use the environment around you to your advantage. It's a lot of fun, and the more you play, the more you realize just how many ways you can approach each encounter. The game also lets you get super creative with your character. Whether you want to be a straight-up warrior, a sneaky rogue, or you're a spell-casting wizard, the options are endless. And if you're the kind of person who loves building relationships in games, this one really delivers. The companions you pick up along your journey have their own personalities, backstories, and goals. They're not just there to fill up space. They actually have a say in how things go down. There's something exhilarating about being thrown into a world where every corner is a new challenge, and the stakes always feel high. That's exactly what you get with Elden Ring Night Rain. It's not just your typical action RPG. It's a fast-paced, cooperative experience that mixes all the things we love about the Elden Ring universe and shakes them up with new mechanics and a fresh spin on the gameplay. In Elden Ring Night Rain, the stakes are high right from the start. You've got up to 3 players teaming up, each bringing their own unique skills to the table as you dive into a dynamic, procedurally generated world. And let's talk about the pacing. Unlike the more deliberate pace of the main series, this one has you constantly moving, thinking on your feet, and adapting to new scenarios. You're not just clearing areas, you're surviving, battling against the clock, and trying to outlast the oncoming wave of enemies. One of the most intriguing aspects here is the shrinking play area. It adds an extra layer of tension to every mission, especially as the days tick down. You've got limited time to gather resources, take down minor bosses, and prepare for the inevitable final showdown. It's almost like a mini battle royale within the Elden Ring universe, but with that signature From Software flair that makes every moment feel earned. The combat is a blast in Elden Ring Night Rain. It's got all the tactical depth that fans of the series will recognize, but it feels faster. Rise, Son of Rome. Rise, Son of Rome is like your personal ticket to stepping into the sandals of a Roman warrior, battling your way through hordes of enemies in some seriously intense combat. It's a third-person action game that has you taking control of Marius Titus, a Roman soldier with a serious vendetta. The gameplay is all about fighting, and more fighting, with each battle making you feel like a total powerhouse when you're chopping your way through waves of enemies. The combat is where it really shines. Everything's built around rhythm. It's not just about hacking and slashing. There's a flow to it, almost like dancing with swords. Once you get the hang of it, you'll be chaining attacks together, taking out enemies with style. There's this cool execution mechanic where when an enemy is weak enough, you can trigger these brutal finishing moves. It's not just satisfying to watch, it rewards you with things like health boosts and experience points. So every fight becomes a rhythm to master, a chance to build up and pull off those big moments. A little bit of teamwork also gets thrown in with the multiplayer mode. If you're not just into solo slaying, you can team up with a buddy and face down enemies together. It's fun to switch things up and get a little chaotic while trying to outlast waves of foes. You don't get to see too many games with this kind of co-op experience mixed in with your typical hack and slash, so it's a nice bonus for those who like to team up. Final Fantasy XVI is one of those games that just pulls you into its world and doesn't let go. From the get-go, it's clear that this is an evolution of the franchise, with its fast-paced combat and complex world building. What really stands out is how the game brings a more mature and grounded tone compared to what you might expect from previous titles in the series. You'll find yourself diving into a world of political intrigue, warfare, and the complex relationships between characters, all while wielding some seriously powerful abilities. The combat is a major highlight here, taking a sharp turn from the traditional turn-based battles we've seen in past Final Fantasy games. Now you're thrust into real-time action where precision, timing, and strategy really come into play. You get to control Clive, and as you progress, you unlock these incredible abilities from various icons, turning every battle into a high-octane magical showdown. It feels smooth, fast, and dynamic, which is a great fit for those looking for a more hands-on experience. As for exploration, it's definitely a mix. While some zones are open enough to get that feeling of freedom, there's still a lot of focus on the main story progression. You'll find yourself riding chocobos, battling enemies, and uncovering side quests along the way. It's not a true open-world experience, but it gives you just enough to enjoy wandering without feeling too boxed in. Just Cause 4. Just Cause 4 is all about fun chaos and pure adrenaline, set in the vast open world of Solus. The map is huge, and it's packed with all kinds of environments, from lush jungles to dry deserts and snowy mountains. No matter where you are, there's always something exciting to do. Whether you're gliding through the air on your wingsuit or blowing up a bunch of tanks with your grappling hook, you're in for a wild time. The main thing about this game is the sheer freedom it gives you. It's like a playground for destruction. Need to get across the map quickly? Just grab your wingsuit and soar through the air. Want to cause a little mayhem? Use your grappling hook to attach rockets to cars, or maybe just yank a helicopter out of the sky and take it for a spin. And if you're feeling particularly extra, there are tornadoes and sandstorms to shake things up, making everything more unpredictable and fun. The whole point is to do things your way. You can go full-on stealth and take down enemies quietly, or you can go loud and blow everything up with some seriously wild weapons. Speaking of weapons, the game offers a ton of cool stuff to play with. Some of the guns are pretty straightforward, but others are straight up wacky, like the wind gun that lets you control the air, or the lightning gun that zaps everything in sight. No matter what you're using, it's all about making the chaos as fun and stylish as possible. One of the coolest things about this game is how it never tells you how to do your job. It just drops you into these huge, detailed places and lets you figure it all out. That's the real beauty of Hitman World of Assassination. It doesn't babysit you or hold your hand, and the freedom it gives makes every mission feel like a puzzle with 100 different ways to crack it. Every location you visit has layers upon layers of possibilities tucked away, just waiting for you to spot them. Whether it's sneaking into a private event in plain sight or turning an everyday object into the perfect tool for the job, the creativity this game sparks is honestly half the fun. Nothing beats the feeling of pulling off something that looked impossible just a few minutes ago. All because you paid attention to the small details. And the way disguises work is a masterclass in design. Swapping outfits isn't just for laughs, it's the key to moving through each area like you belong there. Every change opens new doors, gives you fresh opportunities, and sometimes even creates the most unexpected ways to reach your target. It's the kind of system that rewards curious players with clever solutions you'd never expect on your first try. Then there's the freelancer mode, which flips the usual setup on its head. Here you've got to rely on the gear you bring with you, plan around the unknown, and basically become a one-person strategy machine. It adds this extra layer of tension and forces you to think 2 or 3 moves ahead at all times. Ghost Recon Wildlands drops you right into a vast open world that's ready for you to explore. And I mean explore. This game takes place in Bolivia, where you'll be tackling missions across jungles, mountains, deserts, and cities, all in an attempt to take down the Santa Blanca cartel. The map is huge, and there's just so much to see and do. You can drive, fly, and even swim your way around, making each mission feel a bit like a mini adventure of its own. The gameplay is all about tactics, but in a way that lets you get creative with how you approach situations. You can go in guns blazing, or you can take your time, sneak around, and plan each move. There's a lot of freedom in how you want to tackle things. It's not just about shooting everything in sight. It's about choosing the right moments to strike, when to lay low, and how to work with your team for maximum impact. Speaking of the team, the game lets you go solo, but it really shines when you team up with others. You can play co-op with up to 4 players, which turns every mission into a tactical operation. You and your squad can plan your moves, coordinate attacks, or just mess around and see what happens. The game definitely pushes you to think about how you're going to work with your team, whether you're sneaking past enemies or taking out a base together. Customization is also a huge part of the experience. From weapons to gadgets to your character's skills, there's a ton of ways to make your loadout your own. The thrill of charging through the streets of a Nazi-occupied Paris with a partner by your side is a wild ride. There's something about the chaos of jumping in, guns blazing, and trying to stay alive while you tear through hordes of enemies. That's exactly the vibe you get from this game. The cooperative gameplay brings a refreshing dynamic to the usual shooter experience. Whether you're teaming up with a friend or rolling with an AI buddy, there's always something fun about having backup when things get out of hand. The game lets you step into the shoes of the Blazkowicz twins, Jess and Soph, who are on a mission to track down their missing father. But the real joy comes in how you approach the world. It's a semi-open zone, which gives you the freedom to explore and discover all the little secrets tucked away in the corners. Plus, the mission structure keeps things interesting enough to feel like there's always something to work toward, even when you're just mopping up enemies in a zone. The RPG elements really stand out too. It's not just about picking up weapons and going full speed ahead. You can actually level up and tweak your characters, which adds a nice layer of depth to the gameplay. You get to make choices on how you want to play, whether it's getting up close and personal with heavy weapons or sneaking around, picking off enemies with precision. The variety of combat approaches gives it a nice replay value, letting you switch things up depending on your mood. And let's not forget the weapons. This game has a solid arsenal to keep things spicy. Lies of P. This one drops you right into the kind of gritty, stylish world that just begs to be explored. Everything feels tight and deliberate, especially the combat. There's a real weight to every swing, every dodge, every parry. And that arm? It's like your Swiss Army knife of destruction. You've got gadgets for days, each one adding its own flavor to the way you tear through enemies. Whether it's yanking them closer or lighting things up with a flamethrower, it just never gets old. What really stands out is how the game nudges you to stay aggressive. You're not just surviving, you're taking charge. There's this rhythm to the fights, a kind of dance where hesitation gets punished and boldness gets rewarded. And with how flexible the weapon system is, the possibilities feel almost endless. Mix and match grips and blades, and suddenly you've got this Frankenstein creation that's all yours. It's a whole toy box of tools with a very sharp edge. The choices you make aren't just for flavor either. They actually ripple through the experience in meaningful ways. Lie or don't lie, the game keeps track. It plays with that system in ways that really hook you, making every decision feel like it matters. You're never just running from one fight to the next. You're shaping the path as you go. And there's something really satisfying about how the world opens up. Every corner feels like it's hiding a surprise or challenge, and the game isn't afraid to keep you on your toes. Spec Ops: The Line. The story itself might be set in a war-torn Dubai, but it's the way the game forces you to confront some heavy questions about morality and leadership that makes it stand out. The gameplay, while still rooted in the traditional cover-based shooting mechanics, feels so much more engaging when you realize it's not just about killing enemies. It's about strategy and thinking on your feet. You're not alone in this, you got your squad with you, and you can actually command them in battle to help you out. That little bit of extra control over how things unfold makes the combat feel more tactical and satisfying. The use of the environment is awesome too. You'll see sandstorms roll in, wrecking havoc, and the city's ruins make for some really interesting cover choices that can change the dynamic of every fight. What's really cool, though, is how the game plays with the idea of choices and consequences. It's not just about shooting your way through enemies to the next checkpoint. Every action you take feels like it might come back to haunt you, and that adds some real emotional weight to everything you do. It's not every day a shooter makes you question if what you're doing is the right thing. And let's talk about the setting for a second. Sure, it's set in a fictionalized Dubai, but it's the sand and destruction that really set the tone. The city is in ruins, and it's like playing in an abandoned post-apocalyptic version of a once glamorous place. The way sand is used as a tactical element adds a fun layer to the combat. Watch Dogs Legion takes the classic open-world action game formula and flips it on its head with a twist that's fresh, fun, and full of possibilities. Instead of playing as a single protagonist, you get to recruit and play as almost anyone you meet in the city. That's right. Every NPC can be your ally, each with their own set of skills, quirks, and even personal backstories. This creates a gameplay experience where you're not just taking on missions with one character, but a whole range of people, each adding their flavor to the story. What's really fun is how the game lets you dive into all the different personalities scattered across the streets of London. One moment you could be sneaking around as a tech-savvy hacker, and the next, you're running full speed with a construction worker who's got some serious brawn and a powerful tool set. It's kind of like creating your dream team, but instead of just one character you're stuck with, you can swap out whoever you need at any time. It's kind of like having an all-star squad with a rotation policy. Of course, the game doesn't just leave you in a sandbox to mess around. There's still a lot of structure with missions that keep you hooked. Whether you're hacking a drone, infiltrating a high-security area, or simply trying to outsmart the city's oppressive forces, the game never feels stale. Every character brings their own strengths, making even the most routine tasks feel a bit more exciting and dynamic. The beauty of this system is the freedom it offers. Gears 5 drops you into a world that's all about intense combat, explosive action, and tough decisions. You're not just shooting your way through enemies, you're also getting a real look at what makes these characters tick, especially Kate Diaz, who's at the heart of the story. If you've been a fan of the series, the gameplay will feel right at home. If you're new to it, get ready for a rush. Let's start with the combat. It's everything you expect from a Gears game with cover-based shooting at its core. But it's not just about hiding behind walls and popping out to take shots. You'll be working with some pretty cool tools and weapons to make sure you're always ready for whatever comes your way. From classic weapons like the Lancer to new additions that bring fresh tactics into play, there's a real sense of strategy here. The gameplay encourages you to think about your moves before diving in. Then, there's the multiplayer. Whether you're teaming up in horde mode or jumping into the fast-paced competitive matches, the fun never really stops. You can squad up with friends or random players, and the action can get pretty wild. Escape mode is a standout here, offering a new kind of challenge where you and your team have to work together to clear out areas while avoiding swarms of enemies. It's chaotic, fun, and totally rewarding. But let's talk about the progression for a second. The game's got some solid progression mechanics that make you feel like you're always moving forward. Devil May Cry 5 is an absolute blast. If you're a fan of fast-paced action, this game just might be the perfect fit. It brings everything you love about stylish, over-the-top combat and cranks it up to 11. From the moment you start, you're jumping straight into a world full of insane battles, jaw-dropping combos, and a crazy amount of fun. The first thing you'll notice is the combat. It's deep, it's fluid, and it's so satisfying. Each character you control brings something unique to the table. Nero's got his Red Queen sword and his Devil Breakers, mechanical arms that let you pull off all sorts of crazy moves. Dante, on the other hand, brings a whole arsenal of weapons and the ability to switch between them on the fly, which makes for some seriously dynamic fighting. And then there's V, who controls demons to fight for him, which is a completely different vibe. Switching between all these characters keeps the action fresh and exciting. Every fight feels like a chance to get a higher score, see how stylish you can get with your combos, and just have fun pulling off crazy moves. One of the coolest things is how the game rewards you for being creative with your combos. If you're someone who loves to experiment and try new moves, this is the game for you. You can chain together attacks and moves in ways that feel smooth and satisfying. And the best part? You're constantly encouraged to keep upping your game and getting those high-style rankings. It's all about making each battle feel like a performance,